Character awareness is about recognizing traits and abilities through the hands at a glance without necessarily seeing the lines. Having this knowledge can affect your choices in life, whether personal or business. You will be a step ahead in new relationships as well as existing ones because you will understand your partner or potential partner much more. What to look for? As usual, any well-developed mount or finger suggests energy in the area it represents. So once you have learned the meanings of them, you will quickly grasp the idea. The following features are the basic ones used to identify these qualities. The mounts, finger length and their setting. The thumb and phalanges. The fingernails, skin texture and consistency. The faithful one. It's fair to say that anyone is capable of being faithful, but someone who's more likely than others to be naturally so will have realistic and practical qualities as found largely on the earth hand. These typical signs of faithfulness do, however, also depict dedicated and organised workers, so while they may be loyal and devoted, they may not be so romantic. The fingers on the faithful one will be straight and relatively stiff with some square or spatulate fingertips. They should be set close at the base with little or no gaps between them, especially the Apollo and Saturn fingers. Like on this picture, the middle finger and ring finger. They are set close together. That shows they appreciate the security and like to hold on to things. The thumb should be long with a square tip and fingernail. The fingernails in general will be broad and of average length. The fingerprint pattern on the middle finger may well be a whorl, which is a sign of responsibility. And what I mean by a whorl is that the lines form a circle instead of a loop on the middle finger. The skin will be average to coarse. The mount of Venus will be springy and well-rounded but not overdeveloped. That's the ball of the thumb. The lines will be few but clear and of average depth. The heart line will have very few branches and end on or under the mount of Jupiter. So this is the ideal heart line. Starts from under the pinky and rises to the mount of Jupiter. Talking about the unfaithful one now. Primary signs that may indicate unfaithfulness or flirtatiousness more than others will be the fire or water type because of the extended shape of the palm. But of course, these indicators are a possibility, not inevitability. Someone unfaithful will perhaps be rather selfish and idealistic, so the fingers will be thick at the base with conic or pointed tips and a low set Mercury finger, like in this photo. It's actually set lower than the other three fingers. The hand itself, as well as the thumb, will be flexible. The unfaithful one might get bored easily, so signs of restlessness may be evident, such as a broken girdle of Venus or a simian line. So the simian line is this line that goes across. There's no separate headline and heart line. And the girdle of Venus was the circle line that goes from between the ring finger and across between the index and middle finger. The mount of Venus, when well developed, is an indicator of high libido. And this is this large ball of thumb. It does also indicate energy levels. The fingerprint patterns will be mostly loops, showing an open-minded nature. The heart line will be thin and straight with many branches, or it will end under Saturn. The lifeline will probably be short and separate from the headline, showing restlessness and recklessness. So the lifeline, which begins above the thumb and curves around the ball of thumb, often that is joined to the headline, which comes across the palm. But in this case, they would be separate. So there will be a separate headline and a separate lifeline with a gap in between. The fingers may appear bent or will have spaces between them at the base, showing an open mind with a love of freedom. If the Mercury finger is very bent with a short Saturn finger, it shows their ability to lie. So curved pinky and a short Saturn. And if you remember our finger lengths, you can tell this Saturn finger is classed as short because it fails to reach higher than halfway on the phalange higher. It's only just slightly higher. Skin can be soft or medium to coarse. Someone who's unaffectionate may find it difficult to show their feelings. It doesn't necessarily mean that they don't know how to love or that they don't love you, but instead they may not be able to connect in an emotional or intimate way. So the shape associated with this is the air or the earth hand, since they are practical and logical. With the air hand, that is the square palm with long fingers, it may be because they tend to analyze things, and the earth hand, which is the square hand with short fingers, may be because they may not see romance as necessary. The lower half of the palm is usually narrow with the unaffectionate. The mount of Venus will be limited and quite flat, such as this photo. There's literally no puffiness to the ball of thumb at all. The fingers will often have visible knuckles and an indication of someone analytical rather than romantic. The thumb is usually set fairly high and close to the hand, showing less openness. The skin will be cold and rough, or even the complete opposite, silky and flabby, suggesting a lack of motivation. Fingernails may be either square, small, narrow, fan-shaped, or bitten. They may also be very pale in colour. They will rarely be the nice, full-looking nail. There may be one or two arch-shaped fingerprints. So what I mean by arch shape is rather than having a circle in the shape on the fingerprint or a loop, is just like a mountain of lines. We will get into all the fingerprints in the last module. The type of heart line that shows a lack of emotion is one that is short and straight, like in this photo where I've drawn my weird wiggly line. Instead of the heart line being smooth and curved, it is just short and straight. And the headline is the same. You can see the headline is straight rather than being curved. There may also be a ring of Saturn present, which is what I've drawn here. Under the Saturn finger is a line that just goes across. That's called the ring of Saturn. So this may block some energy.